Non-Texans, what are your thoughts when you hear Texas? That boy ain't right, I tell ya what. Propane and propane accessories. Folks down there are Texans first and Americans second. As a Texan, many down here are Texas first, Texans second as well. In my native Norwegian, the term complete Texas means chaos or out of control. For anyone wondering, the origin of using it in this way comes from using Texas as the word for the lawless Wild West. Sandy Cheeks singing that stupid song that's been stuck in my head since I was 6. Edit. What have I done? Wish I was back in Texas. The ocean's no place for a squirrel. Cadillacs with giant horns on the front, driven by old men in white suits with big white cowboy hats and superbly trimmed mustaches. My name is Dowd Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. All hat and no cattle. All kinds of pride about how special and great they are, but nothing really at all these days to back it up. Keep bitchin' about how you're going to secede, then turn around with hands out as soon as another inevitable crisis, often self-caused, hits. Corrupt electeds that are not only stupid and hypocritical, but also morally bankrupt. Basically, Afghanistan with a better economy, at least for now until everything moves out of state, because no qualified women, LGBTQ, or BIPOC want to live and work there, except for Austin. If Saudi Arabia was Christian, y'all Qaeda. Nothing but steers and queers. Full Metal Jacket. 5'9". I didn't know they stacked shit that high. What Europeans think of Americans is what Americans think of Texans. Edit. Y'all misunderstood my comment big time. I'm calling y'all out for being ignorant when making assumptions about the us/Texas. Yeah, I think that's the best way to explain Texas. All my exes live in Texas. Is Texas a place you like to be? Yet you hang your hat in Tennessee. In my company, in a country on the opposite side of the planet from Texas. Gone Texas is a term used to describe a software program that has frozen up to the point where even Task Manager can't abort it. Otherwise we don't think about it very much, except perhaps with mild horror. A common phrase in Norway, as well as it's completely Texas or totally Texas, it's used when something is out of hand or over the top. I believe it's from when Norway first discovered oil. A lot of Texans came over to Norway to work in the early days, and they were mostly focused on getting the job done, even though it was unsafe or a bit crazy/dangerous. Literally just the shape of the state itself as seen from a map or something. I picture the state of Texas wearing a cowboy hat. I've been through Texas a few times, and the thing that stood out to me was how much people in Texas love talking about how much they love Texas. I had a beer at the Dallas airport when I was waiting for a friend's plane, and it was a Budweiser bottle, but instead of Budweiser the label said Texas on it. Diners would serve Texas-shaped pancakes. Every gas station had a section for Texas swag, everything from t-shirts to shot glasses to hats to magnets and other knickknacks. I've always found New Yorkers to be obnoxious with how much they talk about how much better they are than everyone else, but Texas is actually on another level. So, I guess when I think of Texas, I think of a bunch of people yelling I fucking love Texas. The label said Texas on it. Every gas station had a section for Texas swag, everything from t-shirts to shot glasses to hats to magnets and other knickknacks. Living here my whole life, it took a long time to realize that not all states did this. Also, I didn't know that it was unusual to recite a pledge to your state every morning in school, immediately following the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm from UK, I think. Trucks, tornadoes, guns, car dependency, freedom and American flags. Lone Star flag first. Hey Patrick, what am I now? To which Patrick replies, UHH, stupid. Prompting SpongeBob to say, no, I'm Texas. Patrick then says, what's the difference? And the way Sandy gets offended is peak stereotype of how Texans would react. Whataburger. Fancy ketchup. I think of Gillette, but with cowboy hats. Nice human rights y'all got there too. We sure would be a shame if someone were to strip them away entirely. It used to be they're tough and don't take any shit from the government. Now it's I can't believe the tough guys became such pussies who invite the government into their bedroom and rat out their neighbors and can't maintain a working power grid. Scared ass cops. Yup. My view of a Texas lawman will never be the same. Tough talking when dealing with decent and law-abiding people vs waiting around and sanitizing their hands for an hour while avoiding the dangerous criminals. racist, homophobic, anti-choice. Also total failures on the whole energy grid. The stars at night are big and bright. Also, single action revolvers for some reason. Clap 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 clap. Sorry, I'm from Texas and it's required. Ted Cruz, Greg Abbott, and Louis Gohmert. Also, Ann Richards and Molly Ivins. I miss Ann Richards so much. Her sense of humor was so perfectly Texan. Ted Cruz sucks. I do not like that man Ted Cruz. I do not like his far-right views. I do not like his stupid chin. I do not like his smarmy grin. I do not like him with a beard. I do not like him freshly sheared. I do not like Ted Cruz at all. That man Ted Cruz can suck my balls. Heavis at white people with guns and large cowboy hats yelling "Don't mess with Texas." My favorite part of "Don't mess with Texas" is that comes across as this slogan about how tough and badass Texans are, but in reality it was an effective anti-littering campaign from the Department of Transportation. A state with a weirdly intense rivalry against California. Doubly weird considering they are separated by two whole states. Is it a rivalry, or does Texas just hate California? I question the average citizen intelligence when I see Ted Cruz speak. You elected that guy? A loud-mouthed, gun-toting, law-neglecting, backwards-riding state with a shitty government. Militant evangelicals. As a Texan, I miss the state that I grew up in. Granted, I was ignorant of the larger political situation, but I love the food, tacos and BBQ, the music, and the beautiful landscape. I also loved the rugged individualism, when it's not wrapped in toxic Christian nationalism. Now I don't even recognize it. I fear I can never return. Yeehaw. Mixture of church and state, which is ironically exactly what the US was founded against in terms of government authority. In Norway it is literally used as a synonym for chaos or crazy, which is really weird. BC it should be Florida, hahaha. Rednecks who love guns and hate women. Pantera. Obnoxious conservative blowhards. Removed. Jesus Christ, what hellscape story is coming out of there now? When I see Texas trending, I assume someone is suffering and there's a decent chunk of the state who is getting off on it. Loud. I swear the people at the Dallas airport are always so loud. Ignorant. Cult-like. Jalkida. King of the Hill Land. I spent time, nearly a month, in Texas in the 1990s, guest of a wealthy oilman for a wedding. I'm an Aussie. What I found was a lot of nice folk, but they had an ego problem about their state. Everything was bigger and better in Texas. I quickly found a way to prick their egos. When they started with the braggadocio, I'd quickly come back and, with a straight face, note we have cattle stations, ranches for the septic tanks, bigger than the entire state of Texas, which is absolutely true. The braggadocio would quickly stop. As an aside, I went to a dinner party the first week there where there were a few Texan VIPs including a newspaper magnate. I asked who did kill JFK. You'd think I told the funniest joke ever. They all laughed until the newspaper guy said, "Don't you know op? It was Lyndon Johnson and the military-industrial complex." They were quite serious. Oh god, what have those assholes done now? Sadly, I think dirt and foremost about how the state is anti-women, anti-abortion. Cowboy hats, yeehaw guns, women's rights. Fifth worst state to live in and desperately trying to be the worst state despite its economy. Longhorn cattle.